In this video, we're going to be covering everything you need to know about the new iPhone 15 and 15 Pro that's just been announced. So starting with the iPhone 15, there's going to be two models, the iPhone 15 and the iPhone 15 Plus. The iPhone 15 is going to have a 6.1 inch display and the iPhone 15 Plus is going to have a 6.7 inch display. So the iPhone 15 is going to be released in 5 different colors: black, white, yellow, green and a pink color. These are quite washed out pastel-y looking colors. I think these colors look quite nice. Here they are on screen. The overall design of the back of the iPhone 15 looks very similar to the iPhone 14. The main difference is the new iPhone 15 has a frosted glass back as opposed to a shiny glass back. Moving on to the front of the new iPhone 15, the main difference is the new iPhone 15 base model now has the dynamic island, which was a feature only found in the Pro version of the iPhone 14, so it's good to see it on all iPhones. The cameras in the iPhone 15 have also been updated. It now has the 48 megapixel rear shooter. I believe this is the same sensor that was in the iPhone 14 Pro, so it's good to see it in the new iPhone 15 base model. This new 48 megapixel sensor means that the iPhone 15 will be able to do 2x zoom without losing any resolution. So it'll be able to produce 12 megapixel photos at 2x zoom. And this also means when you're not zoomed in, it'll be able to use pixel binning to improve low light performance. And it should have the option to shoot RAW at a full 48 megapixels, which is always good. And the secondary rear camera on the iPhone 15 is an ultra wide. So processor wise, Apple are doing the same thing they did last year, putting their last generation processor in the standard iPhone 15. So the iPhone 15 now has the A16 Bionic Chip, which should be an upgrade over the A15 that was in the previous iPhone 14. The iPhone 15 now has improved satellite functionality. This means it has features such as roadside assistance. Now the biggest change with the iPhone 15 that everyone's talking about is it now comes with a USB-C port instead of the Lightning port. So you most likely will only need USB-C to charge your phone, your laptop, your headphones. One thing to note about this USB Type-C is that in the iPhone 15, this is limited to USB 2.0 speeds. This is because the A16 processor doesn't have an up-to-date USB 3 controller in it. In the Pro models of the iPhone 15, you'll be able to transfer files at USB 3 speeds. One disappointing feature with the iPhone 15 is the display. Although it now comes with a dynamic island, it is still only a 60Hz panel, so it's very disappointing that they weren't able to put the 120Hz panel in this phone. Price-wise, the iPhone 15 will come in at $799 and the 15 Plus will come in at $899. Next, we're going to move on to the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. But before we get onto that phone, if you do enjoy this video and you would like to see more tech videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. It would be amazing if we could hit that goal. And with that shameless plug, let's get onto the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. So color-wise, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max are less colorful phones. On release, there will be 4 color options to choose from. These color options are black titanium, white titanium, blue titanium, and natural titanium. They are very proud that they managed to make this phone out of titanium, so the edges of this phone, instead of being made out of stainless steel like previous Pro versions of the iPhone, they're now made out of titanium, which is supposed to be lighter and I believe stronger. So design-wise, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max do look very similar to the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max, but there are a few subtle differences. The first one being that the frame of the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max is made out of titanium. This means that the phones are slightly lighter than before. The iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max also have a USB-C port, so there is no Lightning port on these phones as well. But the USB-C port in these phones is USB 3.0 speeds. The iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max also have a 6.1 and 6.7 inch display, but these displays are 120 Hz. These displays are also brighter than last year. They can reach up to 2000 nits outdoor peak brightness. These new Pro iPhones are powered by Apple's new 3nm A17 Pro chips. The new A17 Pro chip is supposed to be 10% faster in processing than the A16 and be 20% faster at graphics processing, so it should be even better for gaming. This new chip also comes with 8GB of RAM as opposed to 6GB of RAM in last year's chip. But as always, I would wait until real-world benchmarks come out when this phone is actually released. On paper, the rear cameras on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max are very similar to those on the 14 Pro and Pro Max, but there are some slight differences. I believe there are some improvements to low light performance and stabilization in the main 48 megapixel camera on both of these Pro phones. Some other features to note: you can now shoot 4K 60 frames per second ProRes on these new iPhones, which means they're a more viable option for professional video work. And the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the larger of the iPhones, comes with a new 5x optical zoom lens, which means this phone is capable of zooming in with more detail. But unfortunately, the iPhone 15 Pro doesn't get this feature. It's still stuck with the 3x telephoto lens. And from someone who uses a Google Pixel 7 Pro with a 5x telephoto lens, a 5x lens is very nice to have. Another feature with the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max is they have removed the vibration switch on the side. This has now been removed for a programmable button, so you'll be able to program this button to do a bunch of different gestures, such as opening the camera. But the switch was very iconic, so I don't see why they couldn't just have both. And unfortunately, none of the new iPhone 15s come with any fast charging. The USB-C charging is limited to 23 watts, which compared to some new Android phones such as the OnePlus 11, this isn't very much. So the new iPhones just don't have very fast charging. So that rounds up this video on the new iPhone 15. If you did enjoy, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. It'd be amazing if we can hit that goal soon. And let me know in the comment section, do you like the new iPhone 15 or do you think it's too similar to last year's iPhone 14? And I will see everyone in my next video.